What's going on, YouTube? Uh, Today I want to talk about knives, knife sharpening, blade steels, just a general, my opinion on the big world of pocket knives and field knives and stuff like that, and what's best for this, what's best for that. Uh, I've done a lot of, you know, personal testing and just general inquisitive stuff on everyday carry knives that have multi-purposes and like belt knives that have multi-purposes, and I got real caught up for a long time on the different steels and what was best and what grind angle and sharpening systems and what was the best way to sharpen a knife and all of that. And I had a realization today about it's more system based. So my favorite blade steel, just general blade steel, is probably 1095 high carbon steel. The reason being is because it's proven to me that you can get a functional edge on it in a lot of different situations using a lot of different methods. Now, there are different methods that you can use to get a better steel, or not a better steel, a better edge, hold better edge retention and stuff like that. But in a quick pinch, if, world goes to crap or your car breaks down and you have to hang out for a couple days, whether it's in an urban environment or an outdoor environment or survival situation, it's quick and easy to get a functional, safe edge back on the knife. Now, that being said, getting into pocket knives, you don't really have those carbon steels that you can use. A lot of people use the stainless steels. Super steels are a big thing nowadays. The powder steels have become more popular. I don't have as much experience with some of those, but I'm getting into it. Like right here, I have a Spyderco Mannix in, so I can get that in focus, CPM 110V, S110V. And I was a little hesitant in getting it. I bought it because for my job, I need a little classier pocket knife. It looks a little bit better, looks a little more professional. If I need to use it, I'm an occupational therapy assistant, and I make splints and stuff for people a lot. And it looks better if you have to use a knife in that setting. Granted, you can always use scissors, but sometimes you need to just take a little bit of an edge off of something, and it won't freak people out as much if you pull out something like this versus a beaten, blood-stained buck knife or a beaten, blood-stained, Tractor Supply knife that has serrated edges. People are weird, in my experience. They freak out less. That's besides the point, though. So whenever I sharpen knives, I was into the philosophy for a long time that you needed, the bench stones were best, you need to practice, you can get good with those bench stones. And there's some truth to that, but there's also a little bit of bias in that I don't think that a lot of people realize, because they're putting stock into something they're investing time in. From what I've realized, it's more of the better way to look at it is it's a system. So you got to look at your blade steel, your blade grind, and how you're gonna sharpen that knife. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what you use: Work Sharp, Lansky, bench stones, Edge Pro Apex, stropping, or mixing all of them together. Whatever you want to do, you got to look at what you have and get good with what you have. Now, I use this knife for a good little while, a couple months, and I had some rolls in the edge, not rolls, but just flat spots in the edge, and I heard that it's a little harder to get that edge back on these super steel knives. And this, I don't know if this, I guess this is technically super steel, but you have to look at the system that you're using. So if you're using like a bench stone, or I can't remember what it's called, the diamond stone blocks that you're taking out on a camping trip, you can use a variety of things and get a good edge back on it. But if you want to dedicate yourself to a super steel, like a pocket knife or a fixed blade knife like that, I found like the Edge Pro Apex does really good for me, because it's putting in the work to maintain that edge, gives you a better edge for longer. Now, My favorite blade steel, like I said, is 1095, but you can't get that in pocket knives. So I don't know. I just thought it was make an interesting video today about blade steels and systems. Look at the system that you have, your knives, your knife steels, and how you're going to sharpen it, and dedicate time to that system in order to get the best results. I don't think one's necessarily better than the other. I think they can be used interchangeably if you want. I'm not a fan of the belt grinders as much because you can round off the tips. Personal opinion there. I know some people that use a lot of the belt grinders. They have really good success with it. It's just not, it doesn't tickle my fancy. You know what I mean? So find what tickles your fancy. Find a blade steel that you can use and get a good edge back on it. And don't be intimidated by these super steels. Just some food for thought.